Hello everyone and welcome to Solving Problems. I'm going to be talking about spoilers today, and once again it's focusing on limited. So we have Applejack growing up the last of the cycle. When she cutie marks she gains Diligent, which is great. We've got Maud Pie, Just a Pebble. It's the Rock and Rave main in the form of a friend, costing 4 action tokens to get it to be the same. I'm pretty sure this is going to be amazing. It's going to be an excuse to play Magical Misfire. Like, this card makes it so discard decks are going to be really good. So we have Chancellor Puddinghead, Equestrian Founder. When it enters play, you may remove a counter from a ready card. This seems really nice as it takes power counters off things and everything like that, and it's always going to be pretty much relevant when Diligent is a keyword. Then we've got a super rare in pink, Minuet. I'm not trying to pronounce that second word. It has Eccentric X, where X is its power, and you can retire a friend to it to give it a +1 power counter. It's a 3 for 2, so its stats are unlikable, but this ability gets out of control very quickly if she goes beyond 3 power, because Eccentric 3, Eccentric 4, it's all ridiculous. Now if you've got any 1-for-1s or any sources of tokens, this card just gets out of control as you just take all those tokens and feed it to Minuet. After that, Princess Cadence, best false hitter ever. 2 for 2 with Hasty, nothing really worthy of note. If you need the 2 for 2, you'll just play it anyway. Probably don't even use the Hasty. We have Clover the Clever, another part of the Founder cycle. A 4 for 4 with Prepared. Not very good, but a 4 for 4 is fine. Then we have Princess Platinum, the white part of the Founder cycle, with Showy 2. Oh my gosh, this is really annoying. Especially as the fact there's a lot of frightening going on, but 2 action tokens to get back this 5 power friend with Showy 2 is going to be amazing, and it will just win games because Showy 2 is so difficult to deal with. We have another super rare with Princess Celestia, Equestrian General. 2 for 2, making it fine. Opposing friends with 3 or more power have -1 power during your turn. I guess it helps you make optimal face-offs, avoid doing single face-offs on your turn, stuff like that. But I don't think this ability is going to be hugely relevant in Limited. Heck, I'm not even sure if it's that good in Constructed. Zipperwell Pet Collector seems quite nice. As a 1-for-1 it's fine, but then with that cutie marking ability making it a 3 for 4 power seems pretty nice, although the fact that you don't have it all on one body is bad for movement. Now we get on to multicoloured friends. Mystery Mare in costume is our first. It's a 1 for 2 with 3 requirement in orange and blue. When it enters play, you may frighten or unfrighten a friend. This card is pretty crazy, especially in Limited. 1 cost for removal of some form is great. It's incredibly efficient and it's a really good card. If you can run it, you just should. AK J.Lang, the pen is mightier. I must admit, when I first saw it, I looked at it wrong, as I didn't see that move clause. With that included, this card gets crazy. A 1 for 2 that when you play it has 4 power, or when you move it has 4 power, temporarily these both are, is great. It's going to help you solve problems quickly and efficiently, just like you need. Sven Gallop Heavy Hoofed seems really nice, but I think a lot of the time your opponent will just play around him. You'll put him to a problem and all they'll do is move friends there to confront it. I think it's a nice ability, and the fact that they have to play around it is relevant, but I don't think it's amazing. Limestone Pie, Captain Grumpy, is really nice, and it's our first iteration of Meticulous 2. I'd go on a ramble about how much I like the fact it just has Meticulous 2, but I'd be here all day. Meticulous 2 and that ability together is really nice, and it works well with the resource for this colour, because you can just produce power tokens that you'll probably have spare of, and then turn them into action tokens that you can use to keep some sort of troublemaker lock going on, or anything like that. It's really nice, really powerful ability, and the fact that it says characters, meaning you can put them on your main, is also really nice. Discord Sneaky Snake is nice, if the Troublemaker deck exists. It's easy to splash, so if you're running pink-yellow anyway, it's just a put-in card. The fact it's a critter will be relevant to the odd effect. Fine card, nothing really wrong with it. Uninvited Guests I think will be good in Limited, because often, if you have a home limit of 4, it's filled with 4 friends you really want to keep hold of. Playing this and just saying, I'll get rid of the invited guests myself, could probably get rid of something they really need. Coco Pamel Set Designer, a 2 for 2 with Showy 1 and another ability. The other ability seems okay, but the fact that it needs to be her on her own, otherwise you don't get the reduction by 1, and it can't reduce things to 0, are big downsides. But other than that, I think it's a good card just as a 2 for 2 with Showy 1, because from what I've seen, Showy is always really annoying in Limited. Silver Spoon High and Mighty is a really interesting one. Its abilities are strange, because when you move it to a problem, you may move an opposing character to the same one, and for your opponent to move characters away, it costs them 1 extra. It seems really interesting, but I don't really know its application at all. It's a 2 for 2, so if you're in the colours, it's just a 2 for 2. You don't have to use any of the abilities. But if you can make those abilities work in some way, say with, I don't know, some sort of troublemaker lock or something like that, I think it could do really good, but I'm really not sure. So we have a colourless friend from the set, or should I call it the best multicolour friend ever printed? Because really, that's what it is. Changes colour every turn if you want it to. Okay, I'm going to fix my white requirement this turn. Oh, but this time I need to fix my yellow requirement, so I'm going to do yellow this turn. This card is crazy, just play every copy you get. And then we get to the events. Starting off is Bookish Backup. It's basically a 2 for 2 with Hasty in purple, but doing it purple's way, so it's an event. The nice part about it is, that means it flips for 4, which is really good. Ever Vigilant is really nice due to its immediate nature. You can use it to help you win face-offs, you can use it to help you confront, you can use it to do all sorts of things. The fact it flips to 3 and then has a chaotic to move a friend as well means its flip is going to be at least like 4 or 5, which is really nice and what you want in blue. Music in the Treetops is the pink and yellow song. It has look at the top 2 cards of a problem deck and put them back on the top or bottom in any order, put 2 1-power yellow critter friend tokens into play, or each player retires a friend. Now in Limited, that last ability is relevant, as I discussed quickly why with the other yellow-pink card, but the other 2 options are also really good. If you have one problem that's really nice in your deck, this lets you dig to it in your problem deck and hope that you can get it. And 1 action token for 2 power, can't complain. Push Comes to Shove is an orange entry 2 for 3. Don't really know what else to say except tokens are fragile, don't forget that. So, redeeming qualities. Our first super rare event. It's a 3-cost event that puts a friend from your discard into play. Now this seems really interesting and looks like it could be really powerful, but in Limited, what friends are you going to want to get back from discard? Because removal is sparse, the playability of this is really low. Because, yeah, maybe you frighten the friend and rather than unfrightening it, you put it into discard and use this, but it's 2 action tokens to unfrighten, so I don't really think this is that good. Pink, so far, from what we've seen, has 1 friend that dismisses, so I don't think this is going to be that good. Sisterhood is the orange-purple song. It has 3 abilities as always. Flip an additional card during face-offs until the start of your next turn. Move an opposing character. Or name a card type. An opponent reveals their hand and then discards a card of that type. Now to me, I look at this and I see Back Where You Began with 2 other options. And I really like this. If you're running orange-purple, Back Where You Began is a perfectly fine card, so you should run this, and maybe you'll use the other abilities, especially if you're intending to start a single face-off or your opponent wants to face some troublemakers or anything like that. And then we have the Spectacle. The fact it has napcakes on it is going to be amazing. Then it's also got 2 other abilities as well. Can't really complain about it. It reads napcakes, make it so your opponent can't beat a troublemaker, and get an event back. All really relevant and strong abilities if you're running those colours. This time we've only got 2 resources to talk about. The first one being Fernando. It seems really nice because it's an automatic flip thing like the old ones that we used to have, but this one replaces itself when you play it. It has a chaotic that means your opponent retires a friend involved in the face-off, meaning its flip is going to be at least the equivalent of 5, and 5 is always a good number, and often it'll hit at least like a 2-power friend, meaning it's the equivalent of like 6. Wonderbot Stadium I think is really good because of the fact that you can play it and then exhaust it, basically making it cost nothing. Only has 1 requirement in each colour. This card is crazy. Even if you only have like 2 of the growing up and it's one of the colours you're vaguely playing, I'd still say you could run this just because the requirement is so low. The troublemaker we have for today is Lord Tyrek, Destroyer of Worlds. Now this is a really odd one. So it starts off with 4 power and 1 bonus point. Doesn't seem very good. But at the start of your troublemaker phase, you put a +1 power counter on this card. When you put a +1 power counter on this card, if it has exactly 3 power counters on it, frighten all friends here. If he has at least 3 power counters on him, he becomes epic. I think this is really cool. The design is that he slowly turns into a huge villain that everyone has to deal with, but the fact that he's a 4 power troublemaker with 1 bonus is really not that good when you think about it. It can be easily messed around with and just basically destroyed before you get anywhere. Alright, on to the ultra rares. Rainbow Dash One-Winged Wonder, see where they got the name from there, is a 3 for 3 with 2 requirement in each of its colours and competitive 3. Its other upside, the fact that it can't be frightened, is nice, but I look at this card and it makes me think of the Equestrian Odysseys Rainbow, that has the immediate ability to give it +2 power in face-offs, and I just think it's a bit better than this card. Yeah, not being able to be frightened will be relevant in lots of cases, but I really don't like this that much. In Limited, you're just going to play it as a 3 for 3 with competitive 3 if it's in your colours, but I don't think it's going to make you play orange-blue, it's that good. Princess Twilight Sparkle Time Patrol is just begging for the Troublemakers to be good, because that prepared and that your Troublemakers have Diligent too, oh, awesome. But if the Troublemakers aren't good, this card will just be awful, because you'll never get to Diligent ever. And then there's Close Air Support. 4 action tokens to get 7/1 power friends into play that go away at the end of the turn. This card is going to be your, I'm going to solve this problem, do a double face-off and go, and then they'll just disappear and you won't care about it. I don't know if that's great, considering it's 4 action tokens to do, but I think it's still good enough to play. The main thing I want to do with this, and this isn't limited, is I want to play Conductor's Baton and play this. 4 action tokens for 14 power seems pretty good to me. Finally, we have the problem spoilers that have come out, and I'm going to go through them in colour order. Guilty until proven innocent, it seems like a problem that basically has 5 requirement for you to confront, because you're going to move your main to it, which is 3 of it. 2 bonus is nice, 8 on the other side is fine. Nightmare Night, What a Fright, this is the one which is really good. 4 blue, it might be a bit hard to get sometimes exactly 4 blue, but if you're maining that colour it should be easy. But when it becomes sold, you frighten a friend, which is really good. Orange gets Family Feud. When this card enters play, name a card an opponent reveals their hand and discards all cards with that name. In Limited, an ability like this isn't very good because you don't really know what specific cards they pulled or what their exact deck list is. In Constructed, it seems really nice. The bonus 2 is fine and the 9 on the other side is really annoying. Falling Rock Zone seems really nice. Once again, in Limited, as dismissal is very sparse, it doesn't seem that great, even if just 8 on each side is something you need. It's a Secret to Every Pony, reducing the cost of friends you play is really nice, especially in Limited, where it's all about efficiency and keeping action tokens. Awkward Cute Signiera is really nice because just being able to make tokens, especially with the Minuet Super Rare, will be really good because it'll just get out of control sometimes. Purple gets an entrance exam with main phase, exhaust your main character to get 1 action token. I like it, but in Limited, you're usually using your main character, so the usability of the ability itself, I think, is really low, unfortunately. Then, Hysterical Reaction, another card that makes me hope that Troublemakers are good in this set, because it's another card that supports them and makes it really nice. Then White gets Unreasonable Demand, 6 on your side, 7 on theirs. It seems really good because when it becomes solved, you may banish your friend. Like, just get rid of it. Forever, no matter what. Then Blackmail seems really nice. It's an 8 on one side, 10 on the other. It has the photo finish say Xe effect, where if your opponent hasn't confronted a problem, you get a point instead. Then from Yellow we have Equal or Else, which really wants to be a starting problem, because they can move the friends that they've already played, rather than play cards from their hand, to this problem. Then after that, Anxious Animal seems nice. It's very simple, just starts to give you critter tokens if you keep confronting it. And finally, there's the colourless ones. Trading Traditions gives your main a second colour and is a starting problem. Okay, yes. The fact that it's 5 on your side and 4 on theirs will be annoying. If you just need to be able to play all those 1 requirement friends in your deck, then you will run this as your starting problem. After that, a Second Chance is totally lost with an upside if you go second, giving you an extra action token. Can't really complain, all good here. I think Trading Traditions is probably the better starting problem just because of the requirement it gives you to make it really easy to start playing the game. I just want to take this time to thank a friend of mine called Blackkite who made the intro you saw at the start of this video. I edited it a little bit so that it fit this episode a little better, but whatever, it's fine. I thank him loads. Link to his YouTube channel on the top of the description. He makes some stupid videos that are very silly and fun. And I will also say that the poll ends on Wednesday for the new series, so get your votes in now if you want to vote.